Now what we're going to do now is we're going to head straight out to Blarney Castle, and we're going to get you out there hopefully before anyone else, because there's about 30 buses inside the quay there, as you saw, and if they're all out there before us, that ain't happening, not in my book. Some of the biggest cruise liners in the world, folks, come into Cobh and Ringaskiddy. Ringaskiddy, skiddy-diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle. Not bad either. It looks like it's going to be a good day. If it didn't rain here in Ireland, folks, we get worried. We had only 40 dry days since July 2023. And that's why this country is so green. I used to be 6'6", but I shrank in the rain. Did you know, folks, that Cobh, where he came in this morning, Cobh Harbor, is the second deepest harbour in the world, after Australia, Sydney. Sydney, Australia is the deepest harbour in the world, and Cobh is the last port of call of the Titanic. It was built in Belfast in 1912, and it went to Southampton to pick up its first passengers, and then it went to Cherbourg, France, and then to Cobh. Now Ringaskiddy, where you get off today, Ringaskiddy, this is where all these American companies are based. Pfizer, Stryker, all these companies, they make stuff for hospital beds, and so Ringaskiddy is reclaimed land. So it's reclaimed land from the sea, and they built all their factories then on that reclaimed land. Did you know Cork City is the friendliest city in Ireland, folks? It's not Dublin. Are you going to visit Dublin, yeah?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Are you going? Have you got tours booked?
Oh yeah.
Do we? Because you could do lovely tours. You could do tours of. You're going to Belfast as well?
Yes.
Oh my God, Belfast is stunning. Belfast is way nicer than Dublin. Way nicer. You can visit the Titanic. You could do the Titanic experience. You could visit the Giant's Causeway. It's absolutely amazing. And in Dublin then you can visit the Guinness House. You could take a trip to Glendalough, Wicklow Mountains. It's really nice. But what I would recommend doing, folks, if you're not going to visit Guinness House, do a tour out of Dublin. The city is too busy. There's a lot going on. You were thrown into prison on Spike Island till the prison was full. Now this is for stealing a loaf of bread or an apple from an orchard tree. An apple tree. When the prison was full, you were then sent onto a prison ship and sent to Van Diemen's Land, Australia, or it could be anywhere in the Caribbean to become a slave for the rest of your life. Folks, this happened in 1844, or between 1844 and 1852. Now the last prison ship to leave Ireland, folks, was in 1860. So they went on up 60 taking people out of this country. This was genocide. And the same thing happened when Oliver Cromwell came here. If you didn't move off your land, you were either hung or you were sent to the Caribbean. England wanted this country for themselves. Anywhere, no, I'm only giving you a history lesson here, folks. I'm only telling you what I learned myself over the years. I've been doing this for the last 10 years. And like anywhere England went to the war, folks, they caused some sort of 1846. And he was living just outside Dingle in a place called Inch Beach. And they wanted me to bring him. No, they found the house where he was born. They found out that he had 2 sons, a daughter, and he was married. So the following day, they asked me to drop them up to the home where he was born. No, it was a ruin now. It's not. It's only a ruin. The house is nearly gone. But we went up and they said a little prayer and they had a picnic. And then they asked me to go down to Inch Beach, where the man, their great-great-great-grandfather, used to walk up and down the beach every morning looking for driftwood for the fire. So I dropped them to Inch Beach, and the most amazing thing ever happened that day, folks. When they were on Inch Beach, they told me the story that before he left for America, he scooped up a bit of sand from Inch Beach and he took it with him. And while he was on the famine ship, they got on the famine ship in Galway, his son died of a disease on the ship, and they had to bury him at sea. And so when they came down, when I dropped them down on Inch Beach, they took out a tin, and inside the tin was the sand from Inch Beach. I couldn't believe it, folks. They kept it for 190 years. I couldn't believe it. They emptied it out onto Inch Beach, and then they took out their great-grandfather's ashes and they emptied that on Inch Beach as well. He never wanted to leave this country. People, tell them that you were in the real capital of Ireland yesterday, down in lovely Cork. And tell them that Beamish and Murphy's is nicer than Guinness. That should really get them going. Great fun. Now, Cork City was founded by a guy called Saint Finbar in the 6th century. And Saint Finbar was born in Connacht on the west coast of Ireland, in a place called Sligo. And he went off to Rome to become a priest. And when he became priest, the Pope told him to go back to Ireland and set up his monastery. Gave him funding for this, and sent. Now I'm going to tell you the story about abbeys later, folks, what they were used for here in Ireland. So he set up his abbey in a place called Gougane in the Cork and Kerry mountains. Now, eventually, folks, he came down the River Lee. The River Lee is out in front of us here, folks, the bridge. And he came down the River Lee and he set up his monastery in the 6th century here in Cork. Vikings in 922, and it was burnt to the ground, and the people were taken out of the city and sold as slaves in the Caribbean. So this is Cork City, folks. I might as well give you the tour now while we're in it. This is the city hall on your left hand side. This is where all our tax money goes, and then they spend it on their Christmas party. Lovely River Lee here, folks. One of the nicest cities in Ireland. On your left side, this is the South Mall. The South Mall, folks, used to be a canal. Cork City was known as the Venice of Ireland because all the main streets in Cork were canals. And in 1780, they decided to fill all the canals in because of the pollution in the city, the smell. On your left hand side coming up here, folks, you're going to see a pub called the Welcome Inn, just here on the left on the corner. This opened the same day as the famine started, and it's a pub ever since. But what they did was they opened it as a soup kitchen to help the people during the famine, just there on the corner. And this is known as an early house pub. There's only 2 pubs in Cork that opens at 7 o'clock in the morning. By the end of today, folks, you're going to think that I'm a pure alcoholic. I don't drink at all. Well, not today anyway, not yet. See, this is the Rivoli again here, folks. This is the Rivoli again, out in front of us. This is our main bus station on your right hand side, folks. This is called Parnell Place. It's just there on the right hand side, folks. Shandon Street Church.
Kellinger.
Is the famous Mac Curtain Street, and Mac Curtain Street is famous because of a guy called Tomás Mac Curtain. He was the Lord Mayor of Cork, and one day he was sleeping inside in his bed in Blackpool, where I showed you earlier on, and the Black and Tans, the British soldiers, burst in the door, went upstairs and shot him while he was asleep. And he was a part of the Irish fighters here in Cork, and he was the Lord Mayor, Tomás Mac Curtain. And that's the street ahead of us, folks. We'll be going on in a sec. This street was named after Tomás Mac Curtain. So I tell you about that guy Michael Collins, folks. Michael Collins, he was born in Clonakilty in West Cork, and his father was 78 years of age when Michael was born. Now, Michael Collins was born in Clonakilty in West Cork, and when he was 16 years of age, he went over to work in the post office in London with his sister. So what he wanted to do was he wanted to come back here to Ireland, folks, and join the IRB, the Irish Republican Brotherhood. Now that was the name, but before it was the IRA, Irish Republican Army. The bridge here now, folks, that we're just about to pass over is called the Michael Collins Bridge. And Michael Collins, when we got our independence back in 1921, Ireland went into a civil war because some people wanted the treaty signed, others didn't. So what happened was, half the country went fighting against the other half, and Michael Collins didn't want this to happen. So eventually, folks, he came down here to Cork, to West Cork, to meet people on the anti-treaty side. And when he did, on the way back out of West Cork, he was shot and killed in a place called Blarney, known as the Hill of the Flowers, in West Cork. And nobody knows who shot him. Was it friend or foe? Michael Collins was 32 years of age when he was shot.
休息了2天就要走。然后面也是，面也是。